Hello everyone. Today we are going to use our imagination to be creative and come up with a new animal that the pieces from the book Windblown can be. So our first job is to cut out the pieces from the story. When we're cutting, I like to get kind of the extra stuff out of the way first. And just a reminder, when you're cutting, make sure your thumb is on top and it should be in the small hole of the scissors. Your fingers should be in the bottom. I can do 3 fingers. I can't quite fit 4. You might be able to. And then always thumb up. And when we close the scissors, we don't want to chomp them like an alligator. We want to always think of it like a fish underwater. Okay? So be careful when you're doing that. Now, when you cut, you can cut on the line, the dashed line if you would like, or you can cut right up against the color. But notice I'm turning the paper. My scissors are staying put. They're right in front of me the whole time I'm cutting. Now, once I've cut a piece out, I am gonna lay it on my blank sheet of paper over here. And then do my best. These little ones can be kind of hard to hold on to, but you just try your best. And if you always get kind of stuck because the paper's in the way, you can always snip and then restart kind of near it. And if there's a little bit of white left, that's okay. That's not a big deal. So if you want to cut those pieces apart, sometimes that's easier than trying to keep cutting them out of the same sheet, kind of making each on their own sheet, and then you won't have to worry about the paper getting in the way when you're trying to cut. So I'm not closing the scissors very much on these little pieces, just barely at all. And if you're having trouble with these little pieces, you could ask an adult for help. Now, once we have all of our pieces cut out, then we have to start using our brain to come up with a new idea. So it shouldn't be something from the story. It shouldn't be what I'm doing right now. If you're doing what I'm doing right now, then you're not really trying your best, because that's copying, and that is not the same as being creative and coming up with your own solution. So maybe you need to start thinking about what animal you like best, or maybe an animal that you remember from the zoo, something that you could use for inspiration to help you plan so that you're not copying someone else's idea. All right, so now that I have all my pieces cut out, I don't need these scraps anymore, so I'm gonna get those out of the way. I am going to think about how I might use these. So sometimes it helps to kind of lay them out. And if you're thinking about an animal, then think about what each shape could be for that animal, because the parts that it can't be, you can add with your marker. So I was gonna try and make a seahorse. I really like seahorses. And if I was looking at a seahorse, I could picture this kind of being the belly. And then maybe using this as part of the head. Oh, this could be that little fin that they have. I definitely think I could use one of these for an eye, but I don't think I could use both. So if that's going to be the eye of my seahorse, then maybe these other 2 parts become part of the snout, or I could build them out down here, use them part of the tail. Sometimes it can be kind of tough to come up with an idea where you're using all the pieces. I obviously could see both these being the eyes, so maybe my seahorse will have 2 eyes. Yep, so I just have to keep kind of moving them around. I think I'm gonna use these as the parts of the mouth. All right, so once I kind of get things where I want them set up, then I'm gonna turn one piece over at a time, and I'm gonna put some glue on the back and glue it down. Sometimes it helps to actually just put the piece on the glue if it's really tiny, rather than trying to turn it over. All right, so kind of like that. Oh, I don't know about this other eye. I think I'm just gonna go with it. We're gonna do 2 eyes. All right. right, and then the fin on the back. Now, once my pieces are glued down, then I'm gonna draw the rest. So for my seahorse, I'm gonna kind of come up and then around and then back around like that. This is gonna be the kind of the spiky part of the back, and then the tail of the seahorse is gonna come down and sort of swirl in like that. And then I'm gonna add the spiky spine part all the way to the middle. Let's see. All right, so I can also add a background. So now that I've got my seahorse design, I can think about maybe what I wanna do for the background. So if a seahorse it lives underground, I might add in something like some seaweed. I could put some bubbles. I could show some water waves. Okay, so things like that. All right, so there's my idea. So obviously I would challenge you not to do the seahorse like I just did, because then you're not using your imagination. And to also avoid the animals that you saw in the story. You want to create a whole new idea. It doesn't mean that you can't make a bird, but maybe your bird doesn't look like this bird. So think of how you can create a new idea with the pieces that you have. All right, I hope you have fun.